welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be answering the question of who would win in a fight between Jurassic World's untamable queen, the Indominus Rex, and Skull Island's Ravager Lizard King, the Vastatosaurus Rex. We'll be bringing both combatants at their peak and going over these categories to find out who wins. The categories are Strength, Speed, Durability, Intelligence, Size, Weight, Stamina, and Abilities. With these categories out of the way, let's dive in. The first category is Strength. Now the Indom can hold up against Rexy, who weighs around 9 tons. She was also able to grab Rexy and smash her around buildings, and was able to overpower the old T-Rex. But as I said, the Rexy we see is far from a prime state, judging by how she's been fed and raised in captivity, far from her prime, and a state she could fight properly in. Not looking so good for the Indominus, since all she really did was fight a punching bag. But a much better feat of hers is when she took down all the Apatosauruses off screen, and we can assume based on injuries and the scars she managed to take them down, the Apatosaurus weighing around 20 tons. The Vastatosaurus Rex isn't half bad himself, standing his ground against Kong in their fight and dragging the king around by his arms. Kong in this film weighing about 20 to 60 entire tons, but to get this weight average, we can say about 40 tons. There's also the fact that the Vastatosaurus hunts and takes out Brontosaurus Baxteri, which can weigh to 70 to 105 tons. With all these feats laid out, the Indom came close, but the V-Rex takes the edge in strength. Next up is Speed. This one is pretty straightforward, as the Indom can reach speeds up to 30 miles per hour, while the V-Rex can only run at an estimated 25 miles per hour. Without much room for debate, the Indominus takes this edge. Next up is Durability, and in the Battle of Main Street, the Indominus first was met with Rexy's powerful bite on her neck, but she quickly escaped the bite to finish the fight rather easily. Sadly for Rexy, her bite force is far from the paleo-accurate counterpart, being only 12,000 psi, but it's still a nasty bite, and the Indominus was taking it to her head and being dragged around for a majority of the battle, but was easily impaled by metal, which made her bleed out badly. Now the V-Rex isn't bad himself in this category either. His durable hide taking Kong's hits and kicks, costing an extreme amount of force to break his jaw, and even taking a large fall from a cliff. The Vastatosaurus is also stated to be bulletproof, which we can't say the same for the Indominus, since Owen's gun was able to likely penetrate her scales. Adding to the Indominus, the scene where she was hit with a rocket launcher, that didn't even hit her. It hit a nearby area which knocked her down, or in other words, she survived being knocked over, which isn't something worth getting glazed over in my opinion. So this isn't a really good feat to use. With all the feats compared, the winner for this category should be the Vastatosaurus Rex. Up next is Size, and the Indominus was stated to still be growing in the movie and would reach a length of 50 feet. With that, we can estimate that the size of the Indominus could be around 21.9 feet tall, which is an impressive size for a theropod. Now let's compare her to the V-Rex. Vastatosaurus Rex is around 50 feet in length with a height of 20 feet. We can see that a fully grown Indominus barely squeaks out the size category. The size isn't everything, because up next is weight. The Indominus is stated to be around 8 tons, while the Vastatosaurus is around 20 tons. Pretty straightforward. The V-Rex takes weight. Stamina is up next, and to determine who will last longer in this battle, we'll go over their fight scenes. The Indom was getting outnumbered by Rexy and the Velociraptors, getting a bit sloppy near the end due to likely being tired from the constant hits, but she was able to get up even with metal spikes in her body and bleeding out. She still wanted to fight. The Vastatosaurus in the battle against Kong could go on for a long time against the King, getting thrown around, kicked, punched, and thrown into each other. The V-Rex would not just quit and get right back up, along with the fact that they're bulletproof, being able to take rounds from pistols, rifles, machine guns, and even shotguns. Several rounds of fire only agitating them with no signs of injury, pain, nor any signs of fatigue, while the bullets were able to show to slow down the Indom. And there's also the factor that since both of these animals are fully grown and the V-Rex isn't inbred, that means that the V-Rex is much healthier and can likely last longer than they did against Kong. With these feats compared, the edge goes to the V-Rex. Up next is Intelligence, and unfortunately for the V-Rex, this one is quite one-sided. The Indominus is a strategist, using her claw marks to distract the Jurassic World staff to think she escaped into baiting them to enter her paddock, giving her the opportunity to escape. She's also a good communicator, speaking with the raptors to convince them to join her ranks. And for her battle intelligence, she is great at this, only fighting Rexy for a few seconds before understanding the strategy of Rexy and easily outdoing her and getting her on the side for the kill. The V-Rex isn't really dumb, just very one-track minded. They're not as stupid as people think, as they have hunting tactics and primitive morals of a conqueror. We see this when one attacks a prey and the other attacks from behind, but compared to the Indominus, it's very clear which one is the smarter opponent. The winner for this category is the Indominus. Up next in abilities, and yeah, this one's also pretty one-sided. The Indominus coming with thermal vision and amazing camouflage, giving her an advantage to hide from threats or get the jump on a target such as the Vastatosaurus. The V-Rex lacks these, but has great leaping capabilities, which can help topple over anything in its path, but the Indominus still takes the edge in this category for the fact she can camouflage, which will give her the advantage to likely attack first. With all the categories gone through, it appears we have a tie, but who do I personally think will win? I think that the Vastatosaurus Rex takes this with medium difficulty. While the Indom is slightly bigger and faster than the V-Rex, along with being more intelligent and have the ability to camouflage, they pale in comparison to what the V-Rex has taken and what it can dish out. Being able to deal more damage, take more damage, and can last longer than what the Indom could probably dish out before she gets tired. And with one good bite from the V-Rex on the Indominus' neck, and the fight will be over pretty quickly. The Indominus has speed and reflexes to make the fight last, but she'll be met with an unfortunate fate of her biting doing nothing to the V-Rex and her claws barely cutting into his scales. Her arms might be able to hold him back and get his neck secured, but the Vastatosaurus will easily shrug her off with his strength and weight. While the Untamable Queen fought like hell to survive, the Ravager Lizard King was able to last long enough to deal lasting damage to put her reign of terror to an end. What do you think of the video? Do you agree with the outcome? You can tell me down in the comments below. And with that being said, I've been the Bull of the Mesozoic, and have a good day.